Well, I love when I start these with a laugh. It works, because listen, I love the sound of Black women laughing. It means that we're joyful. Anyway,
Absolutely.
hey y'all, welcome to another episode of How'd You Get So Sweet, where we hold space for Black women to share their stories, their joy, their rest, their resistance, or resilience. They both work, and all the ways they cultivate sweetness in their lives. Today, I have the absolute pleasure of being joined by Nikki Tate, the owner of the Poison Bar. And I'm really excited to have this conversation. One, because I don't think that we talk about it enough, not from a space of judgment, but just from a space of like open mind, right? Like, there's a different way. And that's what this podcast is all about, is sharing those stories of how women get to their sweetness and opening up our eyes on other ways to do that. So before we jump in, I want to say welcome, Nikki.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
So happy that you said yes to this. Tell the people about yourself.
So, my name is Nikki Tate. I am the owner and founder of the Poison Bar, which is an adaptogen slash non-alcoholic bar for those practicing sobriety, who are sober curious, or who simply don't drink, that are just on a path of wellness. So all of my drinks have adaptogens in it, and adaptogens are just different roots, herbs, and plants that bring the body back into homeostasis or balance. And so we use these adaptogens to help us to aid with stress versus resulting to alcohol. I'm also a sober life strategist. I help people or teach people how to have fun and fulfilled lives without alcohol.
I love that. First of all, I think it's really dope to have options, right? Because I'm 41 and drinking, while I enjoy it on occasion, it doesn't do my body the way that it used to, right? Like, I do not recover easily. And the next day, even if it's just like one glass of wine, right? Like, I'm like, why did I do that to myself? So I love that there are these options. But before we jump into that and the juiciness of the Poison Bar, how did you get to this space?
Well, I have a long history of alcoholism in my family. One of those people being my dad, who passed away in 2021 from alcohol related causes. He died of cirrhosis of the liver. But through watching my dad's body deteriorate from having cirrhosis of the liver, having to go and get bands around his, I think it's called varicose veins, so that he wouldn't bleed out from his stomach getting big, and having to get water pumped out of it or the liquid pumped out of it, just seeing him deteriorate sparked something in me that something needed to change. And I still drank after my dad passed away, continuously, probably almost every day. And then there was something in me, like I kept knowing that I needed to stop. And I was convicted one day. I took a class by this lady named Lisa Marie, and she asked us all to give up something. And normally, you take classes, they ask you to give up something, you kind of brush it off. Oh, okay, I'm going to give this up. But something about it, just, I felt so convicted. And this was like around December. So I made a conscious commitment that when January 1st hit, I was going to go and try out sobriety for 1 year. My goal was only 1 year, because soon as that year was up, I was planning on bringing the next year and drinking. I did not plan for this to be a forever thing. But what I wanted to do is, life is all about experimentation. And so I like to experiment on myself. And I said, let me give myself 1 year of sobriety and see how my life is going to change. Because any and everything that has ever happened bad to me definitely involved alcohol. So in that year, I discovered so much about myself. I discovered that I didn't like confrontation, that I was seeking escapism. And alcohol definitely makes you feel escapism. It makes you feel happy as soon as you start drinking it. Whatever problems you had before, they're going away, because this feeling is just so great. And it's not reality. It's not moving me forward. Any opportunities I've lost, it was because of alcohol. And I wanted something different. And so I wanted a change so bad. My longing and craving for a change, a completely different life, outweighed my craving for alcohol. And so I went on this journey of sobriety. And in that journey, I discovered what is going to aid me in staying sober. And so, of course, I had a therapist. I've been had a therapist before I even stopped drinking. That was one of my tools. I also would take valerian and passion flower. They're two herbs that aid in restful sleep. And I took those herbs every night so that I would not be up thinking about alcohol. And then as time progressed, I eventually made me a non-alcoholic wine because then my friends wanted to go on trips and they were going to be drinking, and I needed to make sure I had something so that I could feel A, apart, and B, so that I wouldn't be tempted to do anything else if I had a substitute with me. And so that's how the Poison Bar was created, because I really wanted to teach people, how to walk through this journey of sobriety. What are the resources that you have? What other methods can you use to help aid you through your journey? And so the Poison Bar was built out of that.
Well, first, listen, I want to say and acknowledge your father. I know that losing a parent is not easy. I just recently lost my mom. And
Yes,
so that changes you, right?
it
Especially
does.
being in a space where you are with your parent while they are deteriorating.
Mhm.
So I totally hear you when it's like, yo, that was a moment for me that I knew something needed to change, right?
Right.
So I want to first, before we talk about anything else, I want to acknowledge that and acknowledge you and your father. That's an
Thank you.
important part of the story as well.
Thank you. And same to you, because yours is even more recent than mine. So I definitely understand exactly how you feel.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, it's to see life, right? And all of the stages, and it's someone that you love. It definitely shifts so much. Things that I'm still uncovering, right?
Mm-hmm.
I get that. I also want to say that for those of you that are listening, you made a post earlier today that I loved, and maybe it was today or a few days ago, but it was about judgment, right? Like, and so I want to say to you all, if you're listening, this is in no way a judgment. If you are still drinking, if you want to have a drink, I'm assuming that you probably still have friends who drink alcohol in this.
I do.
So
I definitely do. I think me not drinking has raised awareness so they don't drink as much. But yes, they definitely still drink.
yeah. So, we want y'all to know that this is a judgment-free zone, right? Like
Absolutely.
you do what you want. You do what resonates with you. The other thing that I heard you say was that you wanted to change so badly, right? And so I think that that's the key part of this, right? That need and that desire to change sparked this newness, right? This new outlook, this commitment to something different, something better, something that allowed you to really thrive. And that's
Yeah.
what this is really about, right? Like, Black women, we are magical. And when we need something, when we want to get something done, we figure it out and we work it out. We make it happen.
Yes.
So I love that piece of the story because it really shows what can happen when you decide to do something more or better for yourself.
Yes. Absolutely.
Tell me a little bit about what was really surprising to you, or something that you were like, oh, I didn't expect for that to happen the year you decided to make this commitment and to just try it out and see.
Well, the biggest surprise for me was the Poison Bar. I didn't expect a business to come out of it at all. I didn't expect to be sober after the first year. And I definitely didn't expect to be guiding other people on a sobriety journey if that is what they so choose. That was never my thought. I would never think that that was part of my mission or my purpose in life. But because the way that I've navigated it, I'm just surprised that all that stuff came out of that. I've met so many wonderful people, networked with so many people, and I can tell that it is a purpose because the things that I would be afraid to do, like speak or talk about this or, really promote myself, I'm not afraid of doing those things. And even if fear does come up, the need and the calling overshadows that. So I can definitely tell that I am definitely on purpose. Like this is very purposeful for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's real. When you know you on your right path,
Mhm.
If you could describe what that feels like, what would you say?
Describe what it feels like. Oh my gosh. The feeling that I get right now, and I don't really know if there's one word, and I don't even know if anybody has ever experienced this, but growing up, it's like when you become a teenager and you start realizing how cute you are and really coming into yourself, and things start moving out the way for you, and doors start opening, and you're really discovering yourself as a teenager, figuring those things out. That's how I feel. That's how I feel like I am in this new space of rediscovering who I am. Oh, how do you act in this certain setting that you used to drink in? And it's been fun. Just putting myself in these situations that normally I would drink in and I'm not drinking, and discovering who am I in this space really? Like, who am I? And just falling back in love with myself. I think that's the best word. I'm falling back in love with myself. I feel like I've been detached for so long. I think I made a post about, I feel like I've been drugged for the past 20 years. And so now I feel like I am waking back up to who Nikki is, and it feels amazing. Like, I feel like literally I am falling back in love with myself.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I
Yes.
love that. That's beautiful. What
Thank you.
what's one of, let's say, 1 to 3 things that is your favorite parts of yourself right now?
Hmm. I think my mind is definitely one of my favorite parts, because everything starts in the mind. And if I couldn't grasp, you know, getting over this addiction to alcohol, if I couldn't grasp changing my view of how I seen reality for myself, if I didn't feel or believe I was capable of transforming my reality, I wouldn't even be here today. So I definitely say my mind is number one. I would say next probably would be my womb, because I feel like, every time I get tense, every time I'm uncomfortable, it's just a tightness. And so I just have to honor her, even if she gets a little round, she is protecting me, and I am very thankful for that. The last one, it's right up in here. So it's between the heart and the throat. And I think I'm going more towards throat, because I'm speaking up for myself. I'm using my throat chakra. I'm honoring myself. I'm not letting things stay inside of me, as well as I'm being an inspiration to others. And I'm using my voice to do that. So I would say those three things.
Listen, that's a word in itself, y'all. First of all, if you're listeners to this, decide and choose 3 things about yourself that you absolutely love. Check in with your mind, check in with your womb, check in with your throat and your heart.
Yes.
You know, see what it feels like. What would you tell someone who was in a space where they were like, I want to change something, whether it is giving up alcohol, whether it is being sober, or if it's anything else? What would be something that you would tell them to encourage them, or kind of offer them resources or direction in how they can get to this commitment or change that they're looking for?
I would tell them to get a therapist. Number one, I think that would definitely aid them in the beginning of their transformation, possibly getting a mentor in the field that they want to do. I would definitely tell them to get some books. One of them being, I'm reading this book now. It's called The Power of Imagination. It's a great book. I would definitely open up and expand my mind to more positive things that will allow me to believe that I do have the power to transform. And I would get in different environments, even if it's not necessarily the environment of where they're trying to go. I would definitely place myself in some different environments where people are at least thriving, and I'm able to see that.
Okay. That's some great advice. I especially love the putting yourself in a different environment, because one, it does get you out of your comfort zone, right?
Mhm,
And it allows you to see the world differently, or more of the world.
mhm,
One of the things that we talk about, or one of the reasons that we love doing retreats, is because we want to take people out of their everyday, whether it is their day-to-day life or out of the state, out of the
mhm.
country, because the world is so vast.
It is.
And we really have no idea. Like, we only get a crumb of the pie, not even a piece of the pie, just a crumb of what is out there. And so
Right.
when you get to put yourself, or when you're willing to put yourself in a very different environment, it allows you a little bit of spaciousness to see the possibility.
Yes. I heard a post on Instagram the other day, and the guy said that I think he was talking about children. In order for children to dream bigger, or even adults to dream bigger, they have to see more.
Mm-hmm.
And getting yourself out of that comfort zone, going on retreats, going across the country allows your mind to expand. You get to see more, and therefore your vision of what you think is possible will grow.
Yeah, yeah. I want to talk a little bit more about your company, but it also made me think of something that a mentor said to me years ago. She suggested that I clear my timelines on my social medias, because what I was doing, and what I think a lot of entrepreneurs do, is we want to see, or we focus on like our competition, what's trending, what are others in my industry doing. And she was like, don't do that. Get that off your timeline. Do something, tap into an industry that's totally different from yours for inspiration, right? Like, and so I like to think of the example of like music, right? So now my timeline has nothing to do with other companies that do retreats or holistic wellness, right? And I'm like all music industry. It's really inspiring. One, it gets you out of that mindset or that anxiety around, oh my gosh, I'm now competing against all these other people. Because remember, we're only a crumb. So it doesn't matter if there are 7 other or hundreds or thousands of other people that are doing what you do. They're never going to do it like you, because
Yes.
you are the magic, right? And whatever that is. So she was like, clear that out, but still have some kind of inspiration. And that really has helped, because I'm not in my head about, should I post this offer? What if no one comes to my retreat? Like, girl, there are 20 plus billion Black women in the world.
Yes.
So I say that because that's also a piece of the like, get out and get into a new environment. If you're on the side of in business or entrepreneurship, it also helps expand yourself that way.
I totally agree. On my social medias, I have nobody that is sober. I don't follow anybody that does sobriety or anything. Now, what I do is I make up my own posts. If I scroll through and I see something I like and I want to recreate it, I do it. But I just make up whatever comes to mind, whatever I feel. Now, how I connect with people that are in the sober arena is that when I post my videos, where it says tag, I'll put sober podcast on Black women's sobriety, women's sobriety, and I'll just tag people in that arena. But I don't go and like friend them or, follow what they do, because I also know that sometimes you can make the accident of copying what other people are doing. And I want to be authentic as I can.
Yeah.
I want to hear the messages that are meant for me to create, to help people go through their sobriety journey, and not what some other person has created or their framework, because that framework may not work for everybody. And that if I'm going down this path and I feel this convicted about it, that there is something in me that I need to hear to create my own framework and to present that, because people need different things. A lot of people are doing the same thing. So if I don't expose myself to any of that and I really just go within, or if I read a book and I gain something from that, or I get this, being inspired like that, I'm okay with. But I typically do not look at anyone else's pages at all.
Yeah.
When it comes to sobriety.
I feel you. What's your most favorite product right now?
That is non-alcoholic.
And from your company, from the Poison.
Oh, it's definitely. Oh, okay. So right now, I have like 4 products, and they are the Neo Noir, which is a non-alcoholic wine. I just recently, for Valentine's Day, even though I've been drinking this, I made it for other people. It is a rose cinnamon cacao tea. And then I have a matcha mushroom tea, and I have my Antidote 2.0 smoothie. And so sometimes I feel like the product that I like the best may be seasonal. Because like during the summertime, I really love my smoothie. In the wintertime, I'm definitely going for the tea. And honestly, even in the summertime, I still drink the tea. The tea is just so good. I just don't know what to do. I think it would be a tie. That is a hard decision because I promise you, when I open up my wine, it's so intoxicating. It's like, oh, it just takes over you. So it has to be a tie between the wine and my cacao tea. Like
Right?
they just go.
You just said every time I open the
I
wine, it's so
know.
intoxicating. It's so.
It is. It is. But guess what? When I go work out I go work out 3 times a week. I'm trying to up it till 5. But when I'm working out, my motivation in my brain is, guess what, Nikki? When you get home, you get to have you a cup of cacao tea. So it's just like, it does that chocolate. Is so satiating. It just, I don't know. It's like a warm hug. And cacao is such a mothering herb. And because I've been doing so much grieving to my old self, I guess it's growing pains that I'm experiencing. It just feels so comforting for me. But that non-alcoholic wine too, every time I open it, because sometimes, I go a couple of days without it. And then like if I bend or something, I open, I'd be like, oh my God, girl, you did your thing with this.
Now you got me wanting to order it. And this is something that you all can order and have delivered to you, right? This is not
Yes.
something that you have to go somewhere and pick it up. Y'all can have it delivered to you.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right. So we'll say it's a tie. We could say that.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna play a game with you. Are you ready?
Yes. I'm nervous, but yes.
This is the imagination game, right?
Okay.
And because this is about sweetness and a sweet life, my question to you is to come up with a short little explanation. We'll call it a little story about what a sweet life looks like and feels like, tastes like. But here's the challenge. You're going to tie it into your poison bar product.
Okay. Okay. So what would the sweet life feel like? So it would absolutely, my dad, he said, if you didn't have kids, Nikki, you would absolutely be a hippie, traveling from here to there. So I think that my sweet life is in traveling. And see, when I think about the sweet life, I absolutely think about my rose cinnamon cacao tea because it's just so satiating. It's so fulfilling. It's so warming. It's so motherly. It's just, if I could describe a taste for the sweet life, when you wake up in the morning to have that, it would definitely be that cinnamon rose cacao tea for sure. I would feel no worries. So like the object of like thinking things are outside of me, like money or I have to do this or I'm obligated to this, it would be none of that. It would be very free flowing. It would be a healthy lifestyle, but definitely needs to be satiating, like my green smoothies, my antidote 2.0 smoothies, something that makes your body feel vibrant, something that fills you up with nutrients and gives you the energy for the day. Yes, it would be beaches, it would be sand, it would be family orientedness, my family experiencing this as well. It would be learning because learning for me is just, I'm such a nerd. So I absolutely love to be in spaces where I am learning, I'm growing, and I'm elevating. And I also understand that even in the sweetness, there also in growth and anything that is growing, there also has to be sometimes a little bit of pain or hurt in order to grow. And I'm willing to take that on as well, because even that feels rewarding. Even knowing I can overcome the obstacle is definitely sweetness. And I think that's where my Neo Noir wine fits in, because it shows how I have created something in the absence of something else, replaced it with something else and overcame the obstacle every time I drink it. Every time I just smell those herbs and I'll be like, girl, I'm telling you, those herbs are so vibrant. And that smell, when I make it at home, it's like I can smell it for a couple of days. It just, I don't know. It's just, I love it. I love it myself. So I think that the sweetness of life for me would be family orientedness, health, traveling and exploring the world, learning, all of those things, encompassing all of those things would really feel just good. And just having my mindset intact of not feeling like anything is outside of me or that I have to do all these things to get here, knowing that it's already within me and I can be at ease.
See, I love that. See, that wasn't so bad. I love that. That was an absolutely beautiful, sweet life. And I love that you also said that there's still the challenges, right? Because we say that often, that the sweet life doesn't mean that everything is going to be sunshine and rainbows every day, every moment. But what it does is that sweetness shows up in every part of your life, even the bitter, the sour, right? Like, we have candy that is bitter and sour and we love it.
Right.
And that is a sweet experience. So I love that you also said that, because that is absolutely what the sweet life is.
Yes,
So thank you.
it absolutely is.
Thank you. That was really nice. So before we wrap up, I have been asking people to share with us. I was going to ask you to grab your book that you mentioned earlier and open it up and share a snippet.
Okay.
That's still open. You can still do that if you feel up to it.
Okay.
Or you can share with us a sweet life mantra that you want to send out into the world for others and for our listeners. Or you can do both. It's up to you.
Okay, I'm going to open up this book. It might land on where okay, let's see. What do I want to read to you guys? Okay, I'll read this since I have it highlighted. And the top of it says, "Who am I?" And so this right here says, as long as you believe in a God apart from yourself, you will continue to transfer the power of your expression to your conceptions, forgetting that you are the conceiver. So I would like to say that. And then down here, I have this in green highlighted as well. And it says out of sight, out of mind, but it's really out of mind, out of sight. And why it was a reason, because they were saying out of mind, out of sight. The manifestation remain in sight only as it takes the force with which the conceiver I am originally endowed it to spend itself. I can't remember why I wanted to say that. The thought isn't coming like how I wanted it to. So I'm just going to stick with the first one. But if I could leave a mantra for the sweet life, it would be probably, so not too long ago, I won this box, and inside of this box, there was a affirmation card. And I'm like, yep, this is absolutely for me. And it says, I am the author of my life. And so I would lead with that because I'm absolutely the author of my life. And right now I'm writing my own story.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Tell us one more time what the name of that book is.
It's called The Power of Imagination. And based upon this book, I am going to be creating a 4-week course. I'm teaching people about the power of imagination on a road in order to get sober. So that is to come.
Okay, listen, that's a great segue, because I was going to ask you, tell the people how they can get in touch with you, how they can get some of that Pinot Noir.
Yes. So you can get in touch with me. I am on Instagram. I think I'm on all platforms as The Poison Bar. TikTok, Instagram, not Facebook though. I'm just have my regular name, Nikki Tate. And YouTube, I'm on there as Lady Poison because I am a lady of poison. That's where you can find me on all social medias. I also have a website, www.thepoisonbar.com. I'm working on that website, but you can still contact me through that. You can also DM me on any of those platforms as well. Yes, I also have events that I list on Eventbrite. I just had a class called The Dark Truths of African Americans and Addiction, which I am selling the replay. I have a class this month called Is Alcohol Your Love Language or Your God? And in the future, I'll be having other classes, but I will be doing a 4-week program called The Power of Imagination. So you guys stay tuned.
I love that. And we'll be sure to drop all of your information in the description so people can have it. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for spending some time with me. Thank you for sharing your story. I do not take it lightly. Thank you.
And thank you just for having me, for believing in me, for wanting me to even be on your show, on your platform that represents you. That is a true honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That. One. To all of our listeners, listen, if this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. make sure you're following us on Spotify, Apple. You can even find us on YouTube. Listen, join the community. Come listen to the stories about getting sweet. Maybe even share your own story. Till next time, make your days be filled with ease, joy, and just the right amount of sweetness. Bye, y'all.